The single most fundamental principle of Gen 3 OU is that Tyranitar is king. And Tyranitar is primarily king not just because it's an amazing Pokemon in its own right, but because even when T-Tar doesn't do much, its sand does everything. So much of what dictates things about Advance, every facet, every aspect, is the dance of Pokemon not affected by sand versus Pokemon that are affected by sand. So like Metagross can switch into a Snorlax and get leftovers recovery because it heals in sand. But Zapdos can switch into a Metagross Meteor Mash, and yeah, Meteor Mash might not do that much damage to it, but Zapdos isn't healing that off just passively with leftovers. It runs leftovers all the time just to not die to sand over time. So T-Tar Sand cannot be overemphasized. Every aspect of its advance is abusing sand, or withstanding sand, or in some cases trying to get rid of sand so you can revel in a sandless environment. Things like luring T-Tar in and getting rid of it, and then, maybe use Dugtrio for that, that's common. Or, and then you use a move like Rain Dance often, and then even if you're not trying to sweep with Kingdra, as great as Kingdra is, then it's just so much better for Pokemon like Suicune and Snorlax, who would be pretty much unkillable outside of sand, but T-Tar's Sandstorm alone knocks them down several places. Without sand, then Suicune and Snorlax are famously unkillable, but with sand, they kind of topple over easily. So the thing about T-Tar's sand is that it is entirely unique. Now, if we plop Abomasnow into Gen 3 OU, wow, well, a lot of stuff is going to happen, which we are going to explore. Also, I want to mention before I delve deeper into Obama in Gen 3, is that I have been reading the comments, and there have been a lot of really cool ideas for videos. I think someone's asked for a history of choice items a couple times, and I'm keeping it in mind, I promise. It's a great subject. And someone else asked for Drought Ninetales and Drizzle Politoed in Gen 3. That one's intense. Yeah, but for today we're sticking with Abomasnow. But thank you for those, and I will keep them coming. You can never have too many ideas. I have this whole file of stuff I want to get to, and I can never run out. So Abomasnow comes into Advance, and well, the biggest thing about Obama is that at least if you really, really want sand gone, if that is your highest priority, then it's not that hard to do just because T-Tar is Doug weak. Now, Abomasnow is weak to Dugtrio's, well, every move Dugtrio runs besides, Earthquake. It's weak to Rock Slide, Aerial Ace, HP Bug. Rock Slide, of course, hitting it the hardest. But it's only regularly weak to them. And if you give it some defense investment, then it's not going to be taking that much damage. And it'll almost surely run Protect. You might wonder, why not Blizzard? Well, number one, so when T-Tar switches into Abomasnow and replaces your Hail with Sand, then you're still hitting it. And number two, because in Gen 3, Blizzard does not have 100% accuracy under Hail. That came in Gen 4. So this is just the standard go-to Abomasnow set that you see in... Gen 4 is a great example because Abomasnow briefly enjoyed some great popularity there just because of how quickly it chipped offensive teams without longevity. And that's in a metagame where there are more item options, like your Life Orbs and your Choice Scarves and things like that. Whereas in Advance, a lot more things run lefties, but Abomasnow is going to cancel out those lefties a lot more easily, and that's going to make the passive damage from Spikes and Leech Seed even nastier. So Abomasnow's best tool as a Leech Seed spammer is its Stab Ice, which means it can tackle any grass types that want to switch in and be immune to its ice moves. Now, some players would try to get smart and block Abomasnow's Leech Seeds with their Celebes with a lot of special defense investment, because 32 PP recover and Ice Beam doesn't do that much without investment. But Abomasnow can run a lot of special attack investment without issue, so that's not going to be too reliable. Really, the best thing for blocking Abomasnow's Leech Seed is going to be your own Abomasnow, because it is the only grass type that is not weak to ice in this theoretical Gen 3 with Abomasnow. So we'd see, there would be moveset experimentation with on Abomasnow for sure. You could run Earthquake on it. You could run Focus Punch. That'd be a big one. And of course, Hidden Power Fire. So, and there'd be more, I'm sure. Like Substitute would be. I'm sure some people would have fun playing with Grass Whistle, because the great thing about Abomasnow is not just that it disrupts leftovers on everything, though that is kind of a big deal, and not just that it's a great Leech Seed spammer, but that it's a great defensive Pokemon in general. So it takes on water types with absurd ease. I mean, it devours Suicune and Starmie and Swampert. I mean, watch out for Focus Punch, but again, a little bit of defensive ease, and I can only use the move once. And, you know, Milotic, if you pair Abomasnow with a Cleric, I mean, that'd be kind of hard to fit. But, you know, maybe... no, it'd be tough to fit in Heal Bell or Aromatherapy poke next to it, because a lot of stuff would start running Toxic for Abomasnow. But, you know, maybe we start seeing Rest Abomasnow just for that, you know. But, yeah, there's a whole bunch of dumb stuff Abomasnow could do. Can Abomasnow learn Refresh? I wonder. Let me change this to Gen 4 real quick. Why can I not do that? Okay, fine. I'll just go into Gen 4. But yeah, the whole removing leftovers from everything aspect, I don't think it learns Refresh. But that would be useful. Yeah, okay, it doesn't. Yeah, but Abomasnow is a great defensive Pokemon because it swallows up those water types with such ease, and just, I mean, the water types, Suicune, offensive Suicune already runs a lot of different moves in its last slots. Calm Mind, Hydro, Ice Beam, Filler. HP Grass is pretty popular, you know, theoretically HP Electric if you're weak to Gyarados, but now HP Fire, you would have a really good reason for it, because otherwise Abomasnow is going to ruin you. I guess theoretically you could use Toxic, which I think would be a little better probably, because it also messes with Blissey, but it's a good set in general. But yeah, Abomasnow is just going to, I mean, completely stuff it otherwise. And another Pokemon that Abomasnow completely devours is Zapdos. I mean, unless you start running Drill Peck Zapdos, which, you know, you could, but and Toxic, of course, it doesn't love that, or even T-Wave. But I mean, a T-Bolt plus Hidden Power as Zapdos' sources of damage? I mean, no, it devours it. And it counters these Pokemon without really fearing Dugtrio, which is a significant trait considering how often Dugtrio is used to facilitate these Pokemon's offenses by removing the ever-annoying Blissey. So, another reason why Abomasnow is such a defensive stalwart compared to Gen 4 is in Gen 4, you've got, you know, those pesky Stealth Rocks running around, and in Gen 3, that doesn't, you know, so, yeah, it would be really, really irritating. I wonder if we would see, there's so much theory crafting to be done for Abomasnow, but I was looking at Moltres just now, and I was thinking, would we maybe see more Sunny Day Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun Flamethrower Moltres, which is a great set already, but maybe running that just to offset Abomasnow ruining everything. Because you can say, yeah, well, you can just fight Abomasnow's sand, or Abomasnow's Hail with your sand, but how many Abomasnows do you think are going to be paired with Dugtrio? So that's not going to be super reliable, and it's not like you can do the same thing. Plus, I think a lot of Abomasnows would be paired with a T-Tar of their own. So I mean, you would recovery would certainly be different, because you can no longer just use Protect for recovery on Pokemon like Metagross and Jirachi and Swampert. Oh my God, they have to actually manually heal. Abomasnow also has the benefit of healing its teammates a little with Leech Seed, but you know, you don't want to over rely on that, because in longer games, then you can only use it 16 times. But yeah, removing leftovers on literally everything that isn't Cloyster or the occasional Regice, you know, or, you know, Abomasnow, of course, that's a really big deal. I mean, for some Pokemon, it makes no difference. You know, Blissey, Celebi, they don't care if or Suicune, they don't really care if it's Hail or Sand or like Heracross or whatever. But I mean, it's a complete game changer for things like you know, Metagross, Skarmory. Skarmory is famously immortal because it heals in Sand and is immune to spikes. But now, you know, in Hail, that like Pythie 19% it takes from Metagross's Meteor Mash, that sticks. And of course, Metagross itself is getting chipped. So, and if you don't have leftovers, then, you know, 6.25% of the time, you're getting worn down. And with the spikes that Abomasnow is inevitably going to be paired with to accentuate Leech Seed damage, Abomasnow could run Toxic itself to be even more irritating. Of course, that also has the benefit of striking other Abomasnow. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of Toxic in an Abomasnow metagame, more than there already is in Advance. So that would be absolutely nuts. The number one partner, well, maybe not the number one because it's not the most slappable or splashable Pokemon, but I think it would be Hariyama, just because Knockoff speeds up the Hail effect even more. Matter of fact, about 6 years ago, Austin Matitos and I both tried manual Hail, that was slapping it on Pokemon like Regice, alongside Knockoff Hariyama. And, I mean, the effect was too short-lived to, you know, be sustained over the course of a game. Now, it was cool to chip Metagross for a couple turns, but, then the Hail runs out. But with Abomasnow and just, like, permanent Hail unless replaced, and Hariyama's Knockoff is already insanely irritating in a Sand metagame, but with Hail support, it would be a complete Advance overhaul. It would be crazy. You know, and don't put aside the fact that Abomasnow is a great defensive Pokemon in its own right. So, I mean, you would like to run... It doesn't really need special defense investment to counter the Pokemon it counters. You know, like, it's going to stuff offensive Suicune and Zapdos pretty much the same whether or not it has special defense investment. If anything, you would want more defense investment to be better guarded against their partner Dugtrio and against things like Zapdos' Drill Peck. And that also lets you do cool things like live, unboosted DD Men's HP flying. And you would want some special attack so you could sting, Celebi trying to outstall you, for example. You want your HP grasses to hit T-Tar hard. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. You want Abomasnow to be pretty fast sometimes, too. There's so much mixing and matching you could do, depending on the moveset, depending on the team, depending on, just your preference of how you like to use Abomasnow the most. But I can't overestimate how much this would fundamentally change Advance. It would be used as spikes. It'd be used with Doug. It'd be used with T-Tar. Sometimes you don't. That's another thing about Abomasnow's Hail. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you don't want to be affected by the Hail, so you would see a lot of T-Tars alongside Abomasnow, and this would in effect make fighting types even more effective as wall breakers. Because they already are effective for their ability to just tear through Blissey and Tyranitar and be neutral against so many other popular walls like Swampert and Skarmory and Jirachi. But it's, fighting types actually like the presence of Hail because they're even harder to wall with things like Claydol. Suddenly Claydol comes in and it takes a big brick break from Medicham, or like a decent brick break from Medicham. Doesn't do that much, does a decent chunk, but Claydol's not passively healing it off. So a lot of the time when you hit Swampert, for example, for let's say 25%, you really only hit it for 19%, or even less. You really only hit it for like 12% because then you're going to switch out and it's going to get more leftovers, and maybe even less because maybe it protects before you even force it out. You should force Swampert out with ways that don't let it safely protect in your face, like you're afraid that they're going to set up spikes or Calm Mind or something. But effectively, you don't do as much damage to Swampert as you really do. But with Hail, you do 25% to Swampert, you do 25% to Swampert. So, yeah, that's it's a game changer for offense, for defense, but the double-edged sword aspect is really relevant. It's going to force lots of toxics and hidden power fires on things. Makes fire types obviously gets scarier. Also because fire types love not Swampert, sorry. No. Flygon, that's what I was thinking of, yeah. You no longer have to try and predict and do something fancy to Flygon. You can just hit the fire move into Flygon, and wow, Flygon famous like Skarmory for its ability to not care about sand and spikes. Oh, but now you're not passively healing off that damage you just took. So yeah, I am really interested to hear some of the theory craft for Abomasnow because it would be absolutely bonkers. Mostly fitting in that anti-toxic support because how you're gonna do that is gonna be challenging. But and some funky Abomasnow movesets. I mean, it would have so much defensive opportunity. It would kind of be like Sing Blissey, where Blissey switches in so easily, so often that you make up for Sing's poor accuracy by virtue of the fact that you're going to spam it so much. It's eventually going to land. And I'm not saying Abomasnow would be that good, but it would definitely have consideration for Grass Whistle into its move slot, in its move set. But it's already trying to fit a bunch of stuff. But yeah, there's so much to do with EVing it. I think a lot of Abomasnows would probably be quite strong. I think max special attack would be a good choice. Just so if you are forced to go 1v1 with T-Tar, you see that you're faster than the opposing Tar, you want to really sting it with HP Grass. It could very easily run a Modest Nature. And with a Modest Nature and max special attack, then your HP Grass, which is its strongest special grass attack, you're hitting quite hard. So 310 special attack is nothing to sneeze at, and it means your Ice Beams are also hitting quite hard too. And the cool thing is that even if a Metagross switches into your resisted Ice Beam, it's much different than Metagross switching into an Arrow Rock Slide or a Snorlax Shadow Ball or whatever. It's like, yeah, that damage sticks. So Snorlax in a way makes a lot of offensive Pokemon better, but it's also hard to switch it. It also speeds up the suffocating effect defense can have with things like Toxic and Will-O-Wisp and Hariyama's knockoff. So I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. I mean, there's so much to consider with Abomasnow around, and just how it would affect electric spam, for example. And I mean, even its ability to help play around Gengar, because it's so good against every. It doesn't like taking Will-O-Wisp, obviously, but if we're going with the whole you need a Cleric with it thing anyway, then you can pivot into its Ice Punch or its Giga Drains or whatever, or its Thunderbolt. That's the one I was looking for, and you're gonna sting it really bad. And yeah, so Abomasnow, Spikes, Knockoff, Status, sounds not fun. And of course, you're never going to want to spin against Abomasnow because Starmie gets stung by HP Grass, Claydol gets smacked by Ice Beam, and even if you think, oh, well, I'm going to spin on it with Fortress, number one, you switch in with Leech Seed and Spikes, and Fortress is getting worn down in the long term really easily. And of course, there's the consideration of HP Fire, which you already like for other Abomasnow. So yeah, to reiterate, lots of Spikes, lots of Toxics, lots of HP Fires, and lots of shifting of the metagame, both offensively and defensively. So that was pretty much all I wanted to say. And of course, the possibility of running more weather-changing moves like Rain Dance Kingdra and alternative rain. Maybe we see more Rain Dance in the filler slots on Magneton, for example. So maybe we see the coolest Pokemon ever, Sunny Day Charizard, on a more regular basis. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any particular thoughts on this, and I will catch you in the next one.